and I'm just throwing this out there because it's important to me, real estate, regardless of what you think about the market, day to day, year to year, statistics shows that real estate appreciates by 3% annually, according to a 100-year average. That is a 3% average. Now we look back at the past 3 years, significantly more, depending on where you're at, right? The entire market in the last 3 years has significantly went above 3%, right? So we know that in real estate, in that investment, in the house, if it's not an investment to you, in the property that you own, if you own one, that it continues to appreciate according to the 100-year average.
You're sleeping and you're making money.
Bam. So that's the highlight of the video. So when we talk about 401ks, I want to talk about, number one, going back to our horror story, that you have to do your due diligence in understanding how much money you can access from your 401k, when you can access it, when you have to pay it back, the taxes and penalties you have to pay if you don't plan on paying it back.
Right, or you plan to switch jobs.
Yes, all things that we're about to breeze through. Like I said, I keep saying quickly, it's hard to talk about this topic quickly, but all things that you need to do. You need to go to your HR department, your administrator, whoever administrates your 401k.
Financial advisor, whoever it may be,
and ask them these questions. You can also talk to your financial advisor if so you can more adequately understand what could happen and the ramifications if you pull out the 401k according to your company's guidelines.
Right.
So, with that being said, you can use your 401k to help you purchase a home. And like we just said, you need to look at those terms and conditions, or you could have a bomb, boom, blowing up. But you can use it. It is a beautiful thing, so long as you, again, understand what happens in the process.
Right.
So you can borrow from your 401k and avoid those taxes and penalties. Borrowing from your 401k means you have to pay it back.
Right.
You're like, it's my money. Why do I gotta pay it back? That's just how it works, man. I don't know. But you have to pay it back, and there's a time frame. Again, something you'll find in the terms and conditions. So when you pull that money out, beautiful. You then have some more money for your down payment and closing costs, which can help you get away from the private mortgage insurance.
Exactly. Which helps you save thousands of dollars over the term of your loan. So
yes, thousands upon thousands upon thousands. Look at the 30-year fix. Look at how much you're paying in private mortgage insurance.
Right. Because you have to pay it until you get to 20% of that you paid off on your home. So,
right.
But 3% down, that's a long climb.
Yeah. So in this situation, when you're paying back that 401k, there is interest. But the beautiful thing is, the interest is paid back to your future self when you cash it out. Bam, right? And that's the biggest thing I want to take away from this. So the con following that, because with a pro comes a con, the con following behind that is, when you borrow from your 401k, you have to pay that off in X amount of time, right?
Right.
And you also have your new mortgage payment, and you also have your car bill, whatever other bills you have. So your budget increases. So in this situation, you have to just figure out, is it gonna work for me?
Dabble in there, see if it makes sense.
Dabble in there.
I just thought dabble was a good word.
But you know and also when you're out there shopping for a home, if you utilize your 401k, it gives you more cash, more down payment, right?
Yes.
And that makes you look like a stronger buyer in this market. Because if we're comparing offers and we see, okay, this buyer's only putting this much down and this buyer's putting this much down, and they're similar offers, we're going to lean towards the one that seems more stronger, the one that has more money putting down. Right? It just makes more sense that way. The seller's like, okay, the strength of this buyer leans in their favor because they have more cash, right? So that's another con, or a pro. That's a pro, baby. That's a pro. But like I said, I'm like, there's a lot of information here. Breeze through it. Hannah, you wrap it up and make it make sense and bring us back to earth here.
All right, we'll talk about the Debbie Downer stuff. It's not too bad. Okay, let me refresh my mind. Okay, so you had mentioned this earlier, William. You were talking about this. You have to pay it back. You absolutely have to pay it back. You know. So, and it's within a certain time frame.
Right.
And this is another thing you got to keep in mind. If you plan on switching jobs within, I don't know, maybe 3 months after buying your house, you need to make sure that your employer, I don't know if it's every company that does it, but they will make you pay it back within 60 days. You have to, or else you'll get penalized with taxes, and nobody wants all that.
And again, why do I get penalized for paying the money that it's mine already? I don't know, man. I don't make the rules.
Taxes, they sneak up on you and they always knock you down.
Right.
Another con would be you can only take out up to half of what you invested into your 401k or up to $50,000.
Right.
$50,000 is the absolute max, no matter how much you have in there, no matter how much you invested into it. That's the absolute max.
And that's speaking today. Things always change.
Yes, right. That's just what we read. That's as of
right. And during COVID, there was changes in that. I don't know if that relief is still there for some people with their 401ks, but there were some things you could do to get around that time frame. Again, we're not financial advisors, 401k experts. We're just kind of talking to you guys about the, in comparison to real estate and purchasing a home.
Exactly.
So.
Oh, this is another good thing we need to ask as well. So, when you borrow this money back, you're obviously going to be making payments on it. You got to ask your employer whether or not you can still invest into your 401k while you're paying that money back, or if they're going to match you while you're paying that money back, because sometimes they won't, and you got to see whether or not that's going to be worth it to you in the long run, because it really could mess with you and when you want to retire and what you want to do when you retire.
Right.
So that's a big thing you got to look out for.
That's a great point. Yeah, your employer could say a great thing. I mean, I'm glad that you decided to make this investment and buy yourself a home, but I got to tell you, unfortunately, we cannot make the same match you're making until you pay up to the amount that you were at before.
Exactly.
So that's why I keep stressing, like there's so many pros, and that's why having a financial advisor in your corner to kind of help you understand it, review the documents, understand what's going to happen moving forward. It's crucial.
It's very,
to understand
very crucial. Yes.
Right? Because I would love to push these people to rob your 401k blind, but you got to look at it from why you started the 401k.
Right.
Maybe you didn't. Maybe it wasn't even something you really wanted to do. You just knew that your employer was offering it, so you took advantage of it. Knowing about what you can do with the 401k in order to avoid those tax penalties, a lot of people are unaware of doing that.
Yes.
The last thing I want to say, I don't know if you want to add anything else, but the last thing I wanted to say was going back to what we said in the beginning about real estate. With the 401ks, it is shown average, and it's really sad for me to say. I mean, if I had a 401k today, and I was looking at the way inflation has gone in the past 40 years, in comparison to what most companies contribute to your dollar for dollar, it's statistically not enough for people to retire comfortably. That's why we see a lot of people retire, they want to live the big life, and then they have to get another job in order to make ends meet. What I can say though is within real estate, if we see a continued 3%, we keep seeing the appreciation of property, you have a good nest egg behind you. You have something solid that you own. If you have to sell it, it would be a sad day if you never wanted to sell it, but you have that solid money, that asset's there. Versus a 401k, you just have to look at it from all perspectives, because let's say you don't want to pay it back. Let's say you don't want to pay the 401k back because you see more value. And this is for more of my investors out there. You see more value in what real estate has to offer. Then you will have to deal with taxes, and you will have to deal with the penalty of pulling it out before you were a certain age. I think it's 59 and a half.
Yes.
But you're never, even when you get to 59 and a half, you're still going to have to pay those taxes.
Right.
You're going to avoid that one little penalty, that small percent that you would have to pay if you were. I got wrapped up there. You still have to pay taxes. That's it. You still have to pay the taxes regardless of what you do when you get to the end and you want to retire.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So looking at it from I don't want to pay these penalties, does it make more sense to gain equity in a property, to a retirement fund within
and
a property?
Then potentially downsize one day.
Yeah,
or
that's just my outlook. Some people look at it differently. Maybe the 401k makes more sense. But to me, statistically, looking at what's happening to these elderly people that get to the end and they want to retire and they just don't have enough.
Right. Those are supposed to be our golden years, and what
and that's just the way inflation works, So if they can establish a way for the 401ks to be funded, or I don't know. I mean, employers can't give you
raise with inflation or something
something
to that effect.
I don't know. But that's just my opinion, guys. I'm just giving you my outlook. That's my job as your financial, almost said it, as your real estate advisor and counselor. That's what we want to do. And that's why we made the episode. But try to keep it as interesting as possible. Try to stay upbeat and positive. I'm sweating up a storm. I've noticed that when you start to work out and do that kind of stuff, you start to sweat more. Put me on the spot, put some powder on my face, and that guy with the handkerchief that just does this the whole way. All right, guys, that is episode 87.
87.
Bam, episode 87. Episode 100, man. We got to go somewhere.
to do something crazy. Maybe we'll be in Florida.
That's what I'm
We're
thinking.
supposed to be going in October, hopefully.
I'm thinking if we look at the weeks now, episode 87, by episode 100, we should be closer to the winter months.
I'm hoping. Oh, that would be nice.
I'm thinking, I mean, I don't know, I might be ahead of myself there, but.
Fly on out somewhere warm. That'd be great.
Don't do math, William. We're not meant for math. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this video up. As always, always, it costs $0.00 to be a decent human being. Smile, be happy, be courageous, go after it. A little bit of positive I want to add at the end of the video.
Positive.
Something that I just thought about the other day. I think all of us, we get a little stumped on things that hold us back, and it kind of just keeps us stagnant. And I've been running into this thing consistently where I just say no. Even if for some reason I'm thinking I can't. It's like with the car. Let's just say for a car example. If you're having problems with the car, you're just like, okay, I can't fix it right now. I just can't do it. I don't know how to personally fix it, and I don't think I have enough money to fix it.
Right.
And I've been in a situation before where I just say, you know what? I can't keep doing this to my car. I gotta do something. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take it up there, and I'm gonna figure out what's wrong with it, and I'm gonna get it fixed. So
And I'm gonna dive in and fix it.
Yeah. And every time I get into one of those situations where I just do it, I just notice this, like, the cap comes off. Like, we limit ourselves to these things that restrict us. And a lot of people, it's long term. Yeah. It's long term. Like, I just can't do it. There's no way to do it. There's absolutely always way to do it.
You just gotta freaking jump. You just gotta jump off the cliff and dive into the water.
It's consistently, and I guess I can't explain it as well as I would like to, but it's like I've just continuously noticed that there's things. I feel like we all go through it where we think there's just no way to get past this, or I just can't do it, or it's just too hard for me to do it right now. But you just put yourself in that position, and it's like a relief because you did it, and then also it's not as like crushing. It's not as crushing as you thought it was once you just put yourself out there in the middle of the field. Anyway, that's making the video 10 minutes longer. Sorry guys. That's just some positive outlook for you guys this week. We will see you on the next episode.